Lots of hopes for a ceasefire as early, President Joe Biden has said, as next Monday. Whether you can trust what Joe Biden says about anything, does he know when next Monday is, would be my first question. Does he know it's not Monday now?
Monday, yes.
But the reports of some progress, and that these meetings have been going on in Paris over the last few days with all the main parties. Now the proposal that Israel has agreed to has been put in Qatar to Hamas, and basically this would involve some sort of a temporary truce, a ceasefire that would take place from the start of otherwise the start of Ramadan, but otherwise Monday, and it would see a lot more aid going in, but crucially also 40 Israeli prisoners being held by Hamas being released, so children, all women. And the elderly being returned in return for the release of an extraordinary 400 Palestinian prisoners. I think it's gone from a 1-to-3 ratio to a 1-to-10 ratio.
Well, there have been bigger ratios beforehand. Politically, the release of the hostages is the number one priority for Benjamin Netanyahu and the Israeli government.
Though some of his government have said that's not their number one priority.
Yeah, but they will do. The trouble is he's got such an extreme coalition from one side to the other that he's trying to hold together. So you'll always get people that will disagree. But it's in the minds of the Israeli people, the mind of his government, it's getting the hostages out. And I think you mentioned it. It's Ramadan, 10th of March to the 9th of April. That is significant in this. But I also understand, Joe Biden made the statement eating his ice cream late last night, but I understand they hadn't actually delivered the final papers to Hamas for them to have a look at. Now, they probably don't need the final paper. They'll have discussed the detail that's in there, but it'd be interesting to see if it actually happens.
Indeed. I mean, big hopes. Again, the big concern, of course, is what is actually happening to those hostages and how many are indeed still alive.
Well, and what Hamas do as well, if there is that, because if they use that to rearm, re-equip, and everything else, then the Israelis are just not going to accept a ceasefire.
But the pressure, I think, particularly to get back the children. There's still, a baby being held, other young children, but also women. And we know what was done to women on October the 7th by those Hamas fighters.